Welcome back to Switchtop. Big action games, deep JRPGs, cozy puzzlers, and some genuinely surprising releases all landing on May 2026. Here's every game you need to know about. Outbound is a chill, open-world survival game where you start with a beat-up electric camper van and gradually turn it into your dream off-grid home. You drive across colorful biomes, gather resources from the environment, craft tools and furniture, build out the van with a modular piece-by-piece system, and grow food in a little garden you set up right on top of the vehicle. Power comes from the sun, wind, or water depending on where you are. There's no combat, no enemies, and you can't die if you forget to eat. You pass out. That's it. The focus is entirely on building, exploring, and living sustainably at your own pace. Up to 4 players can hop in and explore together online. It's basically the van life fantasy turned into a game. And it works! Coffee Talk Tokyo is the next chapter in the Coffee Talk series, moving from fantasy Seattle to late-night Tokyo. You're the barista running a small cafe hidden in the neon-lit backstreets of the city, and your customers include humans and fantastical beings with very human problems. You brew drinks both hot and cold options this time, and the right drink at the right moment shapes the conversation and influences where each character's story goes. New customers include Kenji, a retired Kappa salaryman, alongside others dealing with love, creative burnout, identity, and loneliness against a sweltering Tokyo summer backdrop. Latte art gets new tools including sprinkle stencils. A social feed called Tomoto Chill unlocks extra insights into characters' lives. The lo-fi soundtrack by returning composer Andrew Jeremy is built around the feeling of city nights. It's calm, warm, and written with real care. My Little Puppy. Don't let the name fool you. My Little Puppy is not a pet sim. It's an adventure game about a dog making his way through the afterlife to find his dad. You play as this little dog navigating a world after death, following a path driven entirely by the bond between a pup and his father. The art style is soft and hand-drawn, and the tone is quiet and heartfelt. Based on what's been shown, it's a journey-style adventure where the atmosphere and emotion do most of the heavy lifting. It was revealed during the March 2026 Nintendo Indie World Showcase and immediately stood out for its premise alone. If you're someone who cries at the first 10 minutes of a Pixar film, this one is already targeting you specifically. Monochrome Mobius is a JRPG that's been out on PlayStation and PC since 2022, but is finally coming to Nintendo hardware. It's a spin-off prequel to the Utawa Rerumono series, following a young fighter named Ashtor, who lives quietly with his mother and sister in a frontier province. His world gets turned upside down when a mysterious girl named Shunya shows up, claiming his father, who everyone thought was dead, is still alive. Ashtor sets out to find the truth, journeying to a land that doesn't appear on any map. Combat is turn-based and fully 3D, with free camera movement, which is a shift from the rest of the series' tactical grid-based system. The story is character-focused and emotionally layered. If you enjoy classic JRPG storytelling done with care, this one delivers. Zombie Rollerz: The Last Ship is a genre mashup that throws tower defense, bullet hell, roguelike, and crew management into one chaotic package. You command a massive vehicle, the Last Ship, driving it across a zombie-infested world while managing turrets mounted on the sides of your hull. Turrets fire automatically at anything in their range, but you're also driving the ship around the field, collecting resources, avoiding damage, and upgrading on the fly. The longer you survive, the bigger and harder the zombie hordes get. Each run is shaped by random power-ups and crew members with unique bonuses. There's a meta progression system that unlocks new ship parts and abilities across runs. The art style is bright and cartoony, keeping the whole thing from ever feeling grim. It's deliberately chaotic and genuinely addictive. Constance is a 2D, hand-drawn Metroidvania about a woman who finds herself trapped inside her own subconscious, imprisoned by her inner demons after burning out. The world she explores is a vivid, decaying mental landscape, 6 distinct biomes, each representing a different aspect of her psychology and personal history. You fight using a paintbrush, and your core mechanic is a paint meter that refills when you stand still on the ground. Use abilities too aggressively and the paint runs out, forcing you to burn health instead, which narratively mirrors the feeling of pushing yourself past your limits. The movement is fast and bouncy, with lots of jumping, dashing, and pogo-style attacks. Playable flashbacks let you piece together what happened in Constance's real life. It earned comparisons to Hollow Knight on PC and arrives on Switch in May. Farming Simulator 26 is a new entry in the series, built specifically for Switch and mobile, not a port of the PC/console version. You farm across 2 brand new maps, one European, one North American, with over 120 real licensed machines from brands like John Deere, Fendt, Kloss, and more. The big new addition this time is an optional challenge system that gives you structured tasks with rewards. Things like delivering wheat to a mill so a bakery can produce cake, while still letting you play completely at your own pace if you want to just zone out and farm. You can grow 15 different crops, do forestry with heavy equipment, and raise cows, sheep, chickens, and goats. GPS guidance and improved tutorials make it more accessible than ever for newcomers. It's exactly what it says on the tin: relaxing, real, and surprisingly deep. Mixtape is a coming-of-age narrative adventure from Beethoven and Dinosaur, the studio behind The Artful Escape. It's set in the 1990s and follows three high school friends, Rockford, Slater, and Cassandra, on their last night together before graduation, and life pulls them apart. As they drive toward a final party, their playlist pulls them into dreamlike, playable reenactments of the memories that shaped them. You play as Rockford, who wants to become a music supervisor. The gameplay is a series of vignettes: skateboarding, taking photos at an abandoned theme park, hitting baseballs, putting on a fireworks show, each one styled differently and tied to a specific song. The soundtrack includes Devo, Joy Division, The Smashing Pumpkins, The Cure, Iggy Pop, Susie and the Banshees, and more. It's nostalgic, emotional, and unlike most things on Switch 2. Little Nightmares 2 Enhanced Edition brings the acclaimed horror platformer to Switch 2 with a genuine technical overhaul. You play as Mono, a boy waking up alone in the woods, surrounded by burnt televisions, who eventually meets Six, the girl in the yellow raincoat, and together they travel toward a city under the corrupting influence of a distant signal tower. The gameplay is built around puzzle platforming, stealth, and the constant tension of being small in a world full of large, terrifying things. You can swing objects to fight, but mostly you're running, hiding, and thinking your way through. This enhanced edition adds ray tracing, improved volumetric lighting, interactive particles, and new audio design. Two modes are available: Beauty mode at 4K and 30 frames per second, and Performance mode at up to 60 frames per second. For a game built entirely on atmosphere, these upgrades aren't trivial. It's one of the best horror experiences in gaming, and this is the best way to play it on Switch hardware. Decline's Drops is a hand-drawn 2D action platformer where you play as Globule, a wooden puppet with boxing gloves, who is out for revenge after the Decline, a dark cloud raining strange purple substance, destroys her garden and mutates the world around her. She fights through 6 worlds, each one a subtle satire of a different real-world environmental issue: deforestation, animal exploitation, ocean pollution, overconsumption. The gameplay is a brawler-style platformer with tight, responsive combat and creative boss designs. Each world has its own visual identity and enemy roster, all meticulously hand-drawn. The tone is poetic and melancholic, without being heavy-handed. It's more of a lore-rich world that speaks for itself than a lecture. It's been out on PC since 2024 and comes to Switch in May 2026 with the same full experience. Lost Twins 2 is a puzzle platformer with a gorgeous Miyazaki-inspired art style where you help 2 siblings, Abby and Ben, find their way back home. The core mechanic is tile shifting. You slide, swap, and rearrange pieces of the world itself to create new paths for the twins to walk through. Levels include enchanted forests, toy castles, and water environments where buoyancy plays into the puzzle logic. There are no enemies, no timers, no deaths, and no dialogue. Just you, the puzzles, and a beautiful world to explore at your own pace. The difficulty scales fairly, always challenging without being frustrating. You can play solo or in local co-op, which changes how you approach certain puzzles. The musical score adapts dynamically to the mood of each level. It's one of those clean, joyful puzzle games that respects your brain and your time. Bubsy 4D is being made by Fabraz, the studio behind Demon Turf, which is actually a strong sign. It's the first 3D Bubsy game in about 30 years, and the premise is that the Woolies have stolen all of Earth's sheep, and now they're coming after the Golden Fleece. You run, jump, glide, and roll through craft-themed alien planets with fabric and textile aesthetics, facing Bobot enemies and ending each world with a boss fight. The movement looks fluid and expressive, very much in that Demon Turf school of 3D platforming, where traversal feels rewarding. There's an online time trial mode with ghost data if you want to go fast and compete. The demo on Steam has gotten solid reception. It's a full physical release with a collector's edition. This might genuinely be the game that finally gives Bubsy a good entry. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is the first Yoshi game since Crafted World in 2019, and it's a Switch 2 exclusive. A sentient book called Mr. E falls from the sky and lands in front of Yoshi. He's lost his memory and forgotten all the creatures that were supposed to live inside his pages. Yoshi's job is to journey through the book's levels to rediscover them. Each level is a page of the book, with its own biome, visual identity, and set of creatures to find. Yoshi keeps his classic toolkit: tongue grab, egg throw, flutter jump, ground pound, and adds a new tail flick ability that lets him carry creatures on his back. The game leans into the discovery and exploration style the series is known for. The visual style looks expressive and colorful, and the Switch 2 hardware gives it a visual upgrade over previous entries. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a first-person action-adventure developed by Machine Games and set in 1937 between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. Marshall College gets broken into, a seemingly insignificant artifact is stolen, and Indy follows the trail across Vatican City, the Giza Pyramid Complex, the Himalayas, the temples of Sukhothai, and more. The whip is your primary tool for traversal and combat, swinging across gaps, disarming enemies, tripping them, scaling walls. Indy is not a gunslinger. He's a clumsy archaeologist who gets lucky. Guns exist, but attract attention, and Indy dies fast in a firefight, so you're pushed towards stealth, improvised melee, and creative use of the environment. You can wear disguises to access restricted areas. Larger sandbox locations are packed with side quests and collectibles. It originally launched on Xbox and PC in late 2024 and is one of the best games of that year, finally landing on Switch 2. Tales of Arise is the most acclaimed entry in the Tales series in years, and it arrives on Switch 2 as the complete package, including the Beyond the Dawn expansion. The story follows Alphen, a man who wears an iron mask and feels no pain, and Shion, a woman whose curse inflicts agony on anyone she touches. They come from different worlds, Dana, a planet oppressed for 300 years by Rena, and form an unlikely alliance to fight back. The party grows across the journey, and the relationships between them carry enormous emotional weight. Combat is real-time and fast, with each character having a unique fighting style and powerful boost strikes that chain between party members. The world is vast and visually striking, with distinct regions. The Beyond the Dawn expansion adds 20-plus hours of story set 1 year after the main game, introducing new characters and continuing the conflict. For Switch 2 owners who enjoy deep action JRPGs, this is the big one for May. That's 15 games coming to Switch and Switch 2 in May 2026. From cozy van life to full-scale JRPGs, it's a genuinely strong month. Drop your most anticipated in the comments, and stay tuned.